Really, there not much happened today as far as the injury list goes. So we worked out well on the injury side. Good work today. Proud of the guys. They had a long day and pushed through themselves, or pushed through it, and made sure they kept themselves motivated and rolling. We add a little bit of heat today to it, so that was another part of it. Listen, it was great to get back in our stadium and have our fans there. The guys fed off of the energy, which was great. I've heard the things about the masks and so on. So actually, when I looked up there, I mentioned to one of the guys that everybody had their mask on. It was kind of an unusual looking thing. But I guess somebody said that they had removed them. But we're all working on it. So it's important, I know, with our fans. We got the best fans, National Football League, that they continue to work to keep their masks on if they did take them off. And just like we're doing with the players in meetings and anytime they're off the practice field, they've got the masks on. So good examples to all our fans know that everybody's watching, and we're the example. And we take a lot of pride in that with our fans and our football team. So, but again, great to be in there. Our stadium's op crew, they were phenomenal in setting everything up. I mean, from the cones, we did it exactly like game day, to the headsets, to the pads there for the coaches. And it was just Mark Donovan and his crew, just my hat goes off to them. They really staged it like it was a game. We'll do this again this next Saturday and add some more people in there. And again, the protocol ends up being important for all of us, and we'll keep working on that. But again, time's yours on this.
Let's go to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach. You had a pretty tight relationship with a lot of your former assistants. 2 nights ago, Washington head coach Ron Rivera announced that he has cancer. I'm curious what was your reaction when you heard the news, and have you had an opportunity to offer him words of encouragement?
Well, I did. Ron lost a brother to cancer, and so this is something that he dealt with. He watched his brother with it, and he understands the importance of getting it taken care of, and he'll attack it. I mean, he's a linebacker, right? And once a linebacker, always a linebacker. So he's got that grit and toughness, and he'll need that as he goes forward. But he's in the right frame of mind. He's a positive guy, and he's staying positive with this. So, but at the same time, he knows he's got to bear down on it, and that's what he'll do.
Let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, I just wanted to ask you about the camp this year, and with all the differences in this year, does this feel like camp to you? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
Well, initially, Adam, it didn't because we were here, and it was just an unusual situation. But after today, I think if you ask the guys if it felt like camp, they'd probably tell you, yeah. I mean, all that other stuff kind of wore off, and about a week ago, and the guys were in the grind of it, and no more of a grind than they had today. And I was proud of them for battling through it.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Morning, Coach. I was wondering about Darrell Williams and how you've liked how he's come back from the injury. And secondly, is there a certain aspect of his built-in relationship with Clyde that could maybe make these guys an effective 1-2 punch?
Yeah, well, I joked the Michigan guys and the LSU guys. I mean, we got a whole lot of both. And LSU, from the Badger to the 2 running backs, I mean, it's we've got a good amount of players from there, but it's great football tradition that they're bringing in, and they're like family. So if you play at LSU, there's a certain fraternity that and pride that goes with that you become part of. So yes, Darrell helps them out. They've got a great relationship, and they push each other at the same time, which might be the most important thing.
Go to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Coach, there's apparently a wave of positive tests that went through the NFL from one testing center. I'm assuming obviously was that you guys were practicing. That's not the center you guys use, but do you have any input as to, which centers you do use, and do you have a protocol if something like that would happen, as far as okay, we immediately shut down practice, we delay practice? Is there something set for you guys if something like that did occur?
Yeah, so you're always in direct communication with the league on positive tests, and there's a protocol that's set up. So we just follow that. Rick Burkholder, we have full trust in doing that, along with Dr. Monaco, and so Rick has been on endless calls with the league. Things happen, so I think we all know that. And listen, this isn't the perfect situation, but everybody's working through it. And, if it ends up that it shuts down to practice, you shut it down, you make sure you get it taken care of, and then you ramp it back up and get going again. So it's a like I said, it's a unique year, and we're all aware of it. We trust the protocol. We understand there are going to be some mistakes potentially with the testing. These people are busting their tail for us at all the different units that are reading these tests and giving us the outcome to it. And sometimes things happen. So, but that's what it is. And we roll.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy.
And
Just impressed you so far about Demarcus Robinson's camp, and how much does continuity help you or give you the flexibility to add new concepts to really go to see how much the guys can really increase in terms of their workload?
Yeah, well, that receiver corps, close group, they challenge each other, but they're very good friends on top of that. I'm a big fan of Demarcus Robinson. I've said that before. Demarcus could be a starter anywhere in the National Football League, and that's the way we look at him. So he's in the rotation, and they go. We try to keep ourselves in a position where we potentially can throw fastballs at you and, with a rotation, and we're lucky enough to have the guys right now to be able to do that. So that's how we go. But I think everybody's got the utmost respect for D-Rob. He knows every position. He knows it from every personnel group, and the quarterback, most of all, has trust in him, which becomes probably the most important thing.
We've got time for a couple more guys. Let's go Darren and then Harold. Go ahead, Darren.
Coach, good morning to you. How you doing? My question for you is, your work ethic. Most of your starters returning and are returning, and of course you drafted Clyde. What does Andy Reid at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when you're either at home or when you're in the office? How do you come up with new plays or design new plays that we haven't seen yet, or do you kind of go back to plays that you did in the Super Bowl 40s and 50s and put your remix on it?
Yeah, so I don't think any of the coaches really turn it off. I love doing what I'm doing. So whatever time I get up and I go, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to do it. And I guess when I'm not excited, that's probably when I get out. So if they don't kick me out before that. So that's kind of how I roll with it. But I'm blessed to have the guys around me that I do coaching wise, with starting with Eric Bieniemy and Greg Lewis and Mike Kafka, Joe Blameyer, and Tom Mel, Corey Matei. I mean, all these guys. The thing that gets neglected is the creativity in the run game that we have with Corey and Andy Heck working this thing. I mean, it's phenomenal. Then and you put Dylan in the mix here, working guys out of the backfield, being able to come up with new things there. And I mean, everybody has an input, and it's unique that way. And so I'm just happy to be a part of that. And the energy's great, and I like that. I like creativity, and I like energy, and you put those two together, normally you can come up with some pretty good stuff.
Let's go to Harold for the last one. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Andy. I caught a moment with you and Patrick earlier today. You spent like almost a good minute just talking to each other while he was stretching. I'm just curious, when it comes to you and Patrick, with a guy like Mahomes who's just so immersed into everything and growing each and every day, how do you teach a player that wants to grow each and every day and just try to fill his brain up, because his brain seems to be endless with the capacity of learning more about football? And then my other question is just simply, with veterans for backups, how fortunate are you guys to have those type of veteran experiences like Demarcus and a couple of those guys as backups?
Yeah, well, we'll need all the backups. I mean, how the season goes, long season, and everybody plays. If you can rotate guys, it keeps everybody fresh and keeps the speed of the game up. Which is great. Brett's done a great job with that, bringing people in and creating this competition, which if you're going to be a good football team, you got to have that. And we're blessed to have that. And then with Pat, listen, he's always wanted to learn. And then he also has ideas. So, and I try to keep the communication line open with him, and he does the same thing from his end. along with the other quarterbacks. That's a healthy room right there where it's just a good learn center for those guys. There's experience, there's youth in there, there's college coming into the league, and things that they've run before at the either college level or potentially with other teams. And then the coaches are good. So again, we've tried to keep open communication all the way along, and I've tried to do that with Patrick the best I can. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, take care now.